Well, here we are back in Auckland after the Lions tour has gone to all four corners of New Zealand in the last week, but we reconvene in Auckland ahead of the deciding test match between the All Blacks and the British and Irish Lions. Delighted that Lions legend Shane Williams has joined me this afternoon to look ahead to what is going to be an amazing occasion. But the great thing is, it's a deciding test match, Shane, which means it's everything's still to play for.
Yeah, I think it's obviously made the last week really exciting. I've been part of the fans the last week, and everyone really can't wait for this game now. Everyone's just chomping at the bit to watch the match, and they're very confident as well. There seems to be a shift in momentum with the supporters. Definitely not that air of arrogance in New Zealand that it was after the first test. And it's very exciting. I can't wait for this game. It's
amazing, and at the end of a long season, that Warren Gatland's able to pick the same team from Test 2 to Test 3. Hasn't happened in years. Do you think that was an easy selection?
Probably an easy selection because, in comparison, they played really well. There was a couple of issues with discipline, which seems to have been the case throughout the tour. However, defensively, they're working as a unit. Their line speed is very good, and they scored 2 cracking tries by putting the All Blacks under pressure. Sometimes it's just easier not to change a winning formula. And I thought, the bench that come on, Sinclair, McGrath, the likes of Laws were fantastic as well. So they almost have earned that right for a place in the third test.
Look at the attacking shape. The selection from Test 1 to Test 2, bringing in Johnny Sexton at 10 and Owen Farrell at 12. How would you say that worked last week?
Well, it definitely worked. I think what it does, it kind of slows the New Zealand line because you've got 2 kicking options. Ben To'o is a fantastic player, but he doesn't kick the ball, so he's very one-dimensional in that respect, and you can defend him that way. When you've got 2 10s in your team, there's so many different options. When you've got 2 kicking options as a winger, I knew that I couldn't come too far up in the defensive line because I had to watch for the kicks to the left and the right, and that seemed to be the case. When Naholo and Ione and these guys really didn't feel very comfortable, and it made the difference, I think, in the way that they attacked. And obviously they're both very good in Farrell and Sexton, very good defenders as well. So it worked. It was a risk. It was a gamble because they hadn't played together really before, and Gatland seemed to have had it right on the day.
So I think we can expect a backlash or a blacklash from the All Blacks with a performance like they put in last week. What do you see? What do you think that reaction will be? What will the All Blacks be like on Saturday?
They'll be ruthless, probably like they were in the first test. They will create things, and they will make it difficult for the Lions. However, I've been really impressed by the Lions' defence. It takes a very good defensive effort to stop the All Blacks scoring tries. Okay, they were down to 14 men. However, they were still very dangerous. They still attacked the Lions and put them under pressure. Discipline is going to have to be a lot better with the Lions, but we know that where the All Blacks are coming, like Lomape, who's starting, he's only got one mode, and that's beast mode going straight. Jody Barrett, who's come into the squad as well, a very good kicking option, good in the air. We've seen a lot of kicking as well, so I imagine it's not going to be much different from the first test, but it's going to be a hell of a game.
I think that from the outside, it looks like this Lions squad are really tight, really close. I heard from within the camp this week that Rory Best, who's in the non-playing 23, he spoke to the players yesterday. You've been involved in Lions tours. That last week, when there's a lot of players not involved, can sometimes derail it a wee bit. How do you think it's gone this week?
I think it is difficult last week because there are lads that haven't been involved that aren't going to be involved in this test and weren't involved in the last one. And sometimes that can be very difficult. But I think it's very clever, for Rory to come up and wish the boys well. Obviously, he wishes he was out there himself. But he's a very humble man, and I think that's great for the players. They realise that the lads are behind them, the whole squad's together, and you'll need that on Saturday.
It's been an amazing experience, hasn't it, to be here in 2017 with a number of Lions fans that are here. You've been around them, I've been around. It's just been incredible to be a part of. The atmosphere in the Cape Town last week was incredible. It's going to be the same in Eden Park, isn't it?
Oh, without doubt. Look, we're playing in Eden Park, which is a fortress for the All Blacks. But I think the supporters, could sense that something special can happen on the weekend. I've been part of this crowd, and if it had been 2-0 this week, it would have been very tough on the supporters. Like I say, they're so excited, looking forward to this game, and everyone believes they can win the match, and that's fantastic.
Steve Hansen's never lost 2 games in the trot. Warren Gatland's never lost a third test in the Lions tours he's been coaching. What gives tomorrow?
It really could go either way. Both fantastic coaches, both have coached their teams very well. Steve Hansen got the tactics right in the first game, made it very difficult, took the chances. And I think Gatland had a blinder in the second. It's 1-1. And we've had the banter off the field. You know, it's been a bit quieter this week, which has been great because we just want to see the rugby. However, this really could go down to the wire. Obviously, I'm gonna back the Lions all the way. But they're playing the best team in the world as well, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, the Lions have only ever won one Test series here in New Zealand in 1971. And, you know, I grew up with those names like Willie John McBride, Mike Gibbs, and Gareth Edwards. These guys are legends in the Lions' history. That's what's on the line here tomorrow. And the 2017 vintage have got that chance.
Could be one of the biggest games in Lions history, definitely. Obviously, if the Lions win tomorrow, it is something that probably not many people back home even believe they could do. Everyone was talking about a 3-0 out here. You're playing the best players in the world, the best team. Steve Hansen as well, probably the best coach in the world. But the Lions have come here. You know, they've made it interesting. They made it 1-1. It hasn't always gone their way. The midweek games have been very tough. So this one could really go either way. Obviously, if the Lions do it, they'll make history because it'll be the biggest game in Lions history, I think.
So you're back in the Lions?
I'm back in the Lions.
That's good enough for me. Well, it's going to be an amazing experience to be at Eden Park for the deciding Test match with history in the line for the British and Irish Lions. Can they do it? Can they emulate 1971? I certainly hope so.